Drug cartels have been the recruiters of high IQ and intelligent individuals, rejected by the behaved society, or sometimes disadvantaged due to their circumstances and lack of resources. There have been numerous prominent cases where very resourceful and competent persons were found to be working for criminal organizations and cartels, and El Chino Antrax was one of them. Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, commonly referred to by his alias El Chino Antrax, was a Mexican drug lord, a professional hitman, and a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel, a criminal organization based in Sinaloa. Among all his fallible acts, he was known mostly for being the highest-ranking hitman for the Sinaloa cartel of Mexico. He was one of the leaders and the founder of an armed enforcement group that protected Sinaloa cartel leader Ismael El Mayo Zambada and his sons. So who was El Chino Antrax? How did he come to be the highest-ranked hitman for a criminal group like the Sinaloa cartel? Where did he end up due to his involvement in the drug world? You will get to know this and many more in this video, so stay tuned with us till the end of this video. However, before that, here's a quick reminder that you can subscribe for free and like the video so that we can boost the algorithm. Comments are most welcomed. Early life. El Chino Antrax was born in Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, on the 15th of June 1980. Although we do not know much about his childhood and teenage, it is known that Arechiga Gamboa began to work for the Sinaloa cartel as a bodyguard of Vicente Zambada Niebla, alias El Vicentillo, son of Ismael El Mayo Zambada, until 2008. All these years, he has been one of the important and key personnel for the Sinaloa cartel. After 2008, following the separation between the Sinaloa cartel and the Beltran Leyva cartel, he established his own armed squadron of the Sinaloa cartel, which was named the Los Antrax. The main aim was to provide armed security services to El Mayo Zambada. This is what is known about his early life, or we can say that whole life, in fact. Los Antrax. As we are discussing one of the most wanted and high-profile drug lords and Mexican hitmen, his tenure in the Los Antrax was an excruciating time for the people affected by the armed group. Back in 2008, he was the founding father of the Los Antrax, along with another drug lord known as Rene Velasquez Valenzuela, who was commonly known as Sergeant Phoenix Antrax, Vladi Portillo, El Gato Negro, Black Cat, and El Taliban, who was arrested in the same year by Mexican Army that year and sent to jail in Aguarto, Sinaloa for life prison. The Los Antrax, during the leadership of El Chino, was fulfilling the aim for which it was founded, as well as it was targeting the civilians and the Mexican Security Forces personnel. Among the first leaders of this newly built gang who were killed was Redel Castro, notorious with street name as El Pocho Antrax, who died in a massive shootout in June 2010 with rival members of the Beltran Leyva cartel in Tubotama, Sonora. In the year 2011, the Mexican Army apprehended, tortured, and ultimately killed 3 members of Los Antrax after they were mistaken for kidnappers. These members were Franklin Alguin Velasquez, known as Frankie or Eldos, Jesus Humberto Corona Guillen, known as El Chuve, and Pedro Valenzuela Meza, known as El Pedron. All this was happening under the leadership of the El Chino Antrax. In the November of the same year, El Chino lost another one of his close allies and a leader of Los Antrax, Francisco Arce Rubio, commonly known as Pancho Arce. He was killed during an indoor soccer game in Culiacan by rival gangsters of Los Mazatlecos. This death has brought an alarming situation for the El Chino Antrax, as the ultimate leader, El Mayo Zambada, after this critical loss, withdrew El Chino Antrax from day-to-day activities of Los Antrax until he sorted things out with the rival cartel members. El Mayo's settlements were not as effective as he thought that they would be. The attacks against the gang continued even after, like in February 2012. Roque Landeros was killed with 3 other men in Culiacan. Local media outlets alleged that the killing stemmed from an internal power struggle within the Sinaloa cartel, specifically from a group commanded by El Chapo Guzman. While in their pursuit and targeting and attempts at their arrests, the Mexico's Office of General Prosecutor (PGR) and Secretariat of Public Security (SSP) have identified various other leaders working under the hierarchy of El Chino Antrax. These were Jesus Peña, alias L20, is believed to be a close associate of the drug lord. Others include a man known as Melesio, El Mele, El Traca Antrax, identified by authorities as the gang's recruiter, Eusebio, Imperial or Eliseo Castros, alias El Cheo Antrax, a supposed nephew of El Mayo Zambada, a man known as El Monkey, and El Changuiro, the former alleged financial head of Los Antrax, both arrested on the 16th of April 2012. From 2011 and 2013, the drug lord lived in Los Cabos, Baja California Sur, and led Los Antrax against the criminal group Los Zetas in the area. Social media presence. To one side, he was the brutal, criminalized, and ill-minded hitman of the Sinaloa cartel, who has achieved close spot right to the leader, El Mayo Zambada. On the other side, he was also known for his extravagant life that he displayed on his social media accounts, including trips to Europe and other parts of the world, the picture with lavish cars and houses. Despite being listed in target scope of various security agencies, he has never taken a leave from social media. He was so obsessed with social media that he used to take pictures with celebrities and post them online. In one of his pictures, the drug lord appears alongside Paris Hilton. He also has pictures with Ismael Zambada, Imperial known as Mayito Gordo, son of El Mayo Zambada, who is a top-notch enforcer within the cartel. El Chino also has pictures with another son of El Mayo Zambada, with Serafin Zambada Ortiz, known as El Serra, in the cartel realm, arrested by U.S. authorities in November 2013 while attempting to cross the U.S.-Mexican border with Arizona State. Besides all this, on his social media accounts, he uploaded pictures of his sports cars, yachts, weapons, jewelry, money, and extravagant parties to show off his ostentatious lifestyle. On social media, he raffled cell phones, sunglasses, cars, and other gifts with his followers. He frequently appeared on his Instagram feed sporting his muscular physique, protein intakes, and workout routines. Arechiga Gamboa also has several narco corrida ballads about him, some which describe him as an elegant and fit man who enjoys his sports cars, yachts, and drinking champagne. He was part of the younger generation of Mexican drug traffickers that enjoy displaying their luxurious lifestyle online. One of the reasons that he was beyond the reach of authorities for so long, while being on the social media platform, is due to his always blurred face pictures and videos. But he always showed the skulled face ring in reference to Los Antrax as a form of signature. When things were taken by the U.S. authorities, despite attempting to be discreet by blurring his face, U.S. authorities were able to track him down thanks to his photos. They learned that Arechiga Gamboa liked to travel across the world. His ring also helped them identify him when he landed in the Netherlands from Mexico on 31st of December 2013 and was arrested. Apprehension. On January 3, 2014, the Netherlands Ministry of Security and Justice and the Mexican Embassy in the country confirmed that a 33-year-old Mexican citizen had been arrested by the Dutch police as he arrived from Latin America at the Amsterdam airport, Schiphol, in Netherlands, masquerading as someone else back in the 30th of December 2013. Initially, the authorities did not give any details on the identity of the detainee, but an anonymous U.S. federal agent and Mexican local newspapers leaked information to the media that the man was in fact Arechiga Gamboa. The arrest of the drug lord was officially confirmed later that day by the U.S. government. U.S. law enforcement agencies were able to identify him being traveling with a fake name and going through plastic surgery to change his appearance, and in fact also altered his fingerprints as well. On January 2, 2014, he appeared before a judge, where Dutch authorities confirmed that he was arrested on the request of the U.S. government for drug trafficking accusations. There was no contact with the Mexican authorities, and the following day, U.S. authorities solicited an extradition request to bring the drug lord to the U.S. Extradition and trial in the U.S. On July 10, 2014, he was extradited to the U.S., where he arrived at the San Diego International Airport under tight security by the DEA and the U.S. Marshal Service. Upon his arrival, he was taken into custody and booked for his drug-related charges. He was expected to be arraigned on such charges the next day. The following day, he pleaded not guilty to the drug charges against him and was held without bail after the U.S. magistrate Mitchell D. Denbin deemed him a public threat and capable of fleeing to Mexico if released. On the morning of the 21st of August 2014, he reappeared in court for a 20-minute hearing. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California declared it a complex case after the defense asked for a time extension, given the overwhelming amount of evidence presented by the prosecution. On March 20, 2015, he pleaded guilty and admitted that he had been involved in cocaine and marijuana shipment into the U.S., and that he had facilitated violent activities while working for Sinaloa cartel. After being in jail for 6 years in the U.S., he was released and placed into house arrest. In the same year, on May 9th, his probation office reported him as missing. The ultimate end. As his life was tragic, as was his death. On the night of May 14th, 2020, his sister and her husband were in the house when they were attacked by the Sinaloa cartel armed men. There was severe firefight among the two groups, and when El Chino ran out of ammo, they were taken hostage by the armed men. The next morning, police in the town of Ayune, Sinaloa, discovered a black SUV with 3 dead bodies inside. One of the bodies was later identified as Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa. He was shot dead and wrapped in cloth. His head was covered with a black plastic bag. The other 2 bodies were identified as his sister and her husband. It was later reported that his murder was likely ordered by senior leaders of the Sinaloa cartel. This way, a former top enforcer for Mexico's Sinaloa cartel, who spent time in a U.S. prison, has been identified as one of 3 people found murdered in Sinaloa state of Mexico. As with immortality and illicit activities he was filled with, and for the people he has been working with, they put him to an end for a deeper cause than the ostensible reason. This was all from our side for this video. What do you think of El Chino, the highest ranked hitman of the Sinaloa cartel? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up. It will help us to understand our audience and allows YouTube to suggest similar videos to you. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you at the next one.